So I've been getting asked this question a lot over the last 3 months, just the nature of being in sales and working for a digital agency. And that question is, do I still need a content management system when AI can generate very robust, very well designed websites? And it's a really good question because that's where we're at in today's day and age. The AI tools and the models are out there to do really fabulous job developing very awesome, well designed, very rich website experiences. With Claude's Fable 5 coming back into the fray after the government decided, hey, you can't have that, Fable 5 has shown to prove many, many very awesome builds with complex software, web applications, interactive experiences, and specifically like websites as well. It does that very well. And that's the world that we're living in today is like it's possible to do spec driven development and do some pre-thought and conceptualizing and even Claude design and then to go work with AI to generate a really awesome website. And maybe that is the right play for certain businesses and certain marketing teams and maybe even for agencies that are trying to help businesses out. But content management systems, I believe, still have a critical role, especially when the content needs to be edited by non technical people or vibe coders, right? And so, yes, you could develop a website where the CMS literally is a GitHub repository, and that could work. The challenge becomes a lot of the features that you don't necessarily get with managing all of the content through something like GitHub. And that's UI, UX, the experience of editing content, being inside of the content editor, having a live preview, these sorts of things are more and more in the box with various content management systems. And all of these CMS systems are being disrupted as well by AI, and they're being forced to compete on the agentic front, meaning that they're all in a giant arms race to provide the best AI tooling, features, and agentic capabilities native within the content management system experience itself. And so, while yes, you could use AI to generate a website and the repo is the content management system, and that would work, if you have a team of marketers or a team of content editors who are not very technical people, and let's face it, most marketing teams are not very technical, and nor should they be, then that's not a really good solution. If you're a small business, mom and pop shop, or even a startup, having a CMS could be a bloated, overplayed move. It could be much more cost effective and time effective to simply vibe code your way through a really awesome, stunning designed website and get off the ground and get running. And to make changes to that website, it's really not difficult, right? Because you're just interfacing with the AI, you're chatting with it, it's integrated and connected to GitHub, it's able to publish to Netlify, right? Like the tooling's there and in that use case, right, that actually might make a lot of sense. It might not make sense to have, a WordPress site with all of the complexity of that or, some other platform. But for most mature businesses, for most mature marketing teams, having a content management system is still well advised, right? And again, it's because of all of the features that come with that content management system that you are not responsible for building out of the box. And that you don't have to spend time reverse engineering, and that it's the ease of use with editing the content, right? If you're not a technical person, it's probably not going to be ideal to go into GitHub and to try to sort through the file tree system and to find that page, which is probably like JSX or HTML or Markdown, and to try to reverse engineer like what block you're trying to edit on the page. And so that's really the key difference is on one hand, you have AI generated websites that are great and they're cost effective and they're very time effective. But the only content editing experience and management experience you're really going to have is through that AI harness. And that's not ideal for teams of marketers or non technical content editors. On the other hand, you have your traditional content management system, which could be headless or it could be traditional or it could be, there's all sorts of different CMSs out there. But that is where it has a place. And also consider this, the AI tools are just as good at editing on content management systems through API connections, through MCP connections. So, from a connectivity slash AI is editing content perspective, it's really just all about that integration between, say Claude and GitHub or Claude and the CMS. And so, ultimately, to answer the question, should we still use CMS when AI can generate the site? It really all depends, but chances are, if you're a mature business, if you're a mid sized company or larger, yeah, you still want to have a content management system, and just vibe coding your way through a complete website redesign or relaunch or reimagining of your website sounds like a good idea from a cost savings perspective. But from a long term content maintenance, content strategy, just experience of what your day to day work life is going to be, a content management system still makes a lot of sense.